Pride and commitment go hand in hand. Both stand tall as cornerstones of tradition and inspire efforts in men beyond their abilities. In the autumn of 1994, St. Thomas football strengthened its commitment and renewed its traditions, embarking upon a new age in an already proud history. It was a season where age-old dreams met promising new beginnings, a season of endless persistence and undying determination, a season where the torch has been passed and the pride of St. Thomas tradition lives on. "1994 marked the dawn of a new era in St. Thomas football.
It's really special to be playing on it for the first time because all those other people who were ahead of us that played for St. Thomas didn't get a chance to play at home. And now that we have the chance, it's the energy is there. A lot of time and work and a lot of community hours were put into it, so it's very special to us.
The 1994 edition of St. Thomas football possessed a unique distinction.
We were the last team to play at University of St. Thomas and the first team to play at Jerry Brown Stadium, and we were just, and the way we pretty much left our mark was that we won the last game at the University of St. Thomas, and we also won the first game here by a considerable margin at the new Jerry Brown Stadium.
The stadium was made possible by the generous donation of Bill Makins and his family, who financed and constructed the state-of-the-art facility, as fine as any in the country.
I thought it was like a real treat to everyone. I just was disappointed that we could only play 2 games there, because when we came down on that Friday night homecoming, the Woodbury game, it was an incredible feeling, seeing like 2,000 people stand up. It was just unbelievable.
The 1994 campaign begins amid construction of the Cadets' new gridiron home.
Quarterbacks rotate, right down there, Spicer in the middle, Spicer here. 4 routes, 5-step drop, 4 routes.
A return to a conference championship is the Cadets' #1 goal for the season.
They're guys with a lot of pride, a lot of character, and they're willing to do whatever it takes for the team to win. And they're just a great bunch of guys who like going out to practice every day and enjoy being with each other.
To win the conference championship is one of the main motivations of us. Also to come together as a group, and not many people have an opportunity to come together and work together, and a lot of friendships are built through football.
The 4-way scrimmage at Burnsville, along with Grand Rapids and Blaine, provided the first progress of the preseason.
We have a lot of experience in the offensive backfield and defensive backfield. We have real good players and good depth, and what we're looking for is to see if we can put together an offensive and defensive line. We think we have real good athletes in those positions, but we need to have something to evaluate them by, and that's what's really good about this scrimmage.
Let's go defense, let's go!
The passing scrimmage with Cretin-Derham Hall raised the intensity to another level as the Cadets readied themselves for the fast-approaching regular season.
We need to continuously get better, 10% each day. We have an objective at the beginning of the week, and that is a new team. And we look forward to striving to get that goal, and it definitely has to come within. And the more we work together and the harder we work, we know that we've given our best shot. We need to give every game our best shot and let it all hang out.
I would say that our philosophy is kind of built along teamwork and a whole bunch of people working together towards a common goal. It's not really where we have one person who's the star of our team and how we have, just a couple of people who carry the whole weight of the team. It's really that you have everybody working together, and it's only when we work together that we're able to win and we're able to accomplish our goal.
Pride and dedication. More than a concept or formula, it is the very fabric that has set St. Thomas football apart year after year.
It goes back a long way.
winning tradition. Just guys going, giving their all. That's our philosophy. We want to improve by 2% each game and just go out there and play our best.
St. Thomas football is pride, tradition, and excellence every day, 110% in everything you do. It's a tradition that's carried on over the years, and it'll be carried on for a very long time.
A team focus and team unity are the common thread throughout the program. Hard work and practice makes the difference.
Through our sprints and through our practices, we know that we can beat the other team through the fourth quarter. Because through hitting them solidly every play, we know by the fourth quarter they're going to be out and we're still going to be going.
There's a lot of tough, mental toughness on this team. You get a lot of guys out there, seniors. They're always trying to keep everybody up, and there's a lot of juniors this year that are pretty tough mentally, and they're ready to play.
A lot of the motivation this week, at least, is coming from the coaches, but I believe it comes mostly from internally. If you don't have the desire to do it yourself, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to put your full effort into it.
St. Thomas players share an infectious enthusiasm, translating in a desire to excel that goes unrivaled.
We're a real intense team, and it's probably because we hold so much pride in class, and that's what we're based on. Our entire program is just giving it your best, every play, every down.
I think what motivates us is that we really play together well as a team. And as a team, we all come together and we're all on the same page. And that everybody is, I think, equally in shape and knows what they're doing.
You just got to get ready for practice and just take it every day. And every game is a big game, because when you're going off the conference championship, you got to play that way. And you just got to come in, work hard, and if you do good, then you'll probably have a good game.
Football is not the only focus at St. Thomas. Life in the classroom and beyond graduation are of prime importance.
That's a really amazing thing about this football team is the lives that the students lead. They're all successful academically, involved in a lot of activities, and the dedication level to the team is just unreal.
St. Thomas enjoys the good fortune of possessing the finest staff of coaches in Minnesota football. Bob Slater's guidance is supported by Dave Zebarth, Kevin Berg, Tim Flynn, John Welsh, and Peter Maulick.
Most rewarding thing to me is just playing under these coaches and with the team that we have. They want to win as bad as the players do, and it shows by how they act and how they help us through our drills and everything.
St. Thomas football fosters a unique bond among the men who wear the blue. The effects are long-lasting.
It sounds corny because it's football, and it's supposed to be tough men playing, and that was our attitude on the field, but through the weekends and getting through a losing season like that, it really formed some strong friendships that I don't think we'll ever lose.
A family kind of forms, and by the end of the year, the end of the season, you come so close to each other, and the friendships are so strong that you hate to see it go, but we're so close that the friendships will last forever.
St. Thomas football in 1994. For all the effort, there is a payoff.
The thing about the program that makes it exemplary from others is when we go out, we play hard, we play to the best of our ability, and we play clean. And no matter what happens, we know we put forth our best effort, and we go out of the game with our heads high. That's the most important thing.
We played them last year, and I thought we played quite well, so I think they remember that we put a little licking on them. We're still trying to find ourselves at this point. We don't really know what to expect. Wet conditions, so we're hoping to stay away from turnovers and hopefully start the season off on a positive note.
The one goal I have for tonight's game is consistency. So that's kind of what we're looking for. No penalties, no mistakes, and maintaining some drives. No turnovers, maintaining drives.
St. Thomas opens the 1994 season at O'Shaughnessy Stadium against Duluth Denfeld.
I think we're excited to see a lot of anticipation. What we can accomplish this year, all hindered on that first game. A lot of people were doubtful. Were we going to be good? Where we stood.
The opening kickoff sets the tone for St. Thomas's intensity. Aggression would be a hallmark for the defense. Peter Burkhart and Dan Diebel lead the way. Burkhart combines with James Makins and Jay Roberts as the defense goes 3 and out on their first series.
Defensively, we went out there because we wanted to establish ourselves, and because everybody had been talking about our offense the year before, so we knew that we were top defense and we wanted to prove it.
The offense goes to the air to start the season as Chris Rye finds Bill Owens to the Denfeld 12-yard line. Behind key blocks by Rob Grady and Tony Vanderwist, Mike Hankey brings the offense close. In from the 1, Hankey gets the call for the Cadets' first points of the season.
I think that we were kind of nervous, but really excited that we'd actually gotten to our first game. We'd had a couple tough weeks of practice, and I think we were ready to just get out there and show what we could do.
The defense holds Denfeld to 3 downs once more, and a bad punt snap gives the Cadets the ball at the 2-yard line. Rye rolls left and is in for the score as St. Thomas takes a 13-0 lead.
We ended up getting ahead early, and when we jump on a team early like that, that pretty much deflates them, and that's what happened to them, and we rolled on to the victory.
The defense is in midseason form as Peter Burkhart stops the pass. Brian Cook saves a touchdown as the defense is challenged in close. As the second quarter begins, Hines, Funk, and Diebel penetrate and pursue.
Well, we call ourselves the hit squad. We like to, go out there, go 100% and just hit it real hard.
With 4th and goal at the St. Thomas 5, Makins, Michael, and Burkhart come through with a punishing stand. The defense comes up big on the next series as well, as Brian Cook pounces on a fumble.
He's nothing. He can't hang on to the ball. Good pop.
The offense is on the move behind Bill Owens. Following the blocks of Vanderwist and Will Hankey, Owens cruises 45 yards to the Denfeld 5-yard line. The Cadets take a commanding 20-0 lead as Todd Spicer scrambles in from the 1.
I believe that that we came out and showed a lot of discipline early, especially with our new offensive line. I believe they handled the challenge of a new season very well.
Matt Beckman and Ted Michael continue the defensive assault, stopping the option cold as the defense goes 3 and out for the 3rd time in the half. Chris Rye finds Chris Laska in the flat.
Good job, Chris. Good job. That's it, Chris. Good read. Good read.
Mike Hankey moves behind Laska, Adam Wright, and Will Hankey. Chris Rye is effective on the ground, gaining yards on the scramble, as well as in the air, finding James Makins with a pass to the Denfeld 1-yard line. Mike Hankey is in from the 1 as St. Thomas takes a 26-0 lead into the locker room at halftime.
We're not asking you to do things extraordinary. We're asking you to do the things you can do as best you can. We've played very well so far, but we need to improve in some critical areas.
To start the second half, the offense relies on ball control, with Chris Laska around left end. Mike Hankey is equally effective off left tackle. When the Cadets are forced to punt, R.J. Schreifer recovers a Denfeld fumble, giving St. Thomas the ball 9 yards away from the end zone. The offense goes up top, with Rye taking his time to find Laska for another St. Thomas touchdown and a 33-0 lead.
I think we totally beat them physically and mentally. We still knew we had a lot to do, but it was a good way to start it, I think.
Chris Owens and R.J. Schreifer stop a sweep with quick pursuit. Brian Cook comes away with another turnover, this time an interception deep in St. Thomas territory. When the offense can't convert, the defense shines once more. Peter Burkhart is in for a sack. It's a flawless debut. St. Thomas opens the new season in convincing fashion with a 33-7 win over Denfeld.
The whole team dominated. There weren't any big plays to really make the change or sway the game our way. mean, we had some defensive stops here and there, but basically the whole team just dominated their team. And the game was and the score was a reflection of that.
Offensively, I think we can move it on them. If we don't panic, they'll blitz a lot, and if we pick up their blitzes, I think we'll pop some big gainers.
We're going to try to be real aggressive up front, move some people around a little bit, and try to force a few mistakes, put some pressure on the quarterback.
The Cadets spot their arch rivals a 7-point lead on the opening kickoff. Matt Funk takes revenge on the next offensive series. Giving the offense opportunity, Peter Burkhardt picks off a Tartan pass and breaks loose for a big return. The offense responds with Todd Spicer connecting with Chris Brown. Spicer leads the way, picking up 8 yards on the bootleg. Mike Hankey's run from 12 yards out brings the Cadets to within 1 as they trail 7-6.
The opening play, they started off and they ran it all the way back. And Mr. Slater said to us, don't get down. You know, the game is 48 minutes long and you have the time to come back from it. And we went out there and, you know, we just kept on hitting away, and eventually we had a lead back.
Defensive intensity rings true throughout the first half, with James Makins a menace in the Tartan backfield. Makins and Michael read and pursue, resulting in a loss for Tartan. Jay Roberts is a solid force in the trenches.
Our defensive philosophy is basically smash mouth football. We're going to go out there and hit. We want to establish ourselves. We want to beat the team both mentally and physically.
Offensively, the Cadets let loose with precision passing as Mike Hankey finds big yards on the screen with a tremendous effort. Bill Owens makes life tough for Tartan. Todd Spicer puts it up for Makins, resulting in a 1st and goal for St. Thomas at the Tartan 4-yard line. Mike Hankey pokes in for his 2nd touchdown of the night, his 4th scoring run in 2 games. At the half, St. Thomas holds on to a 12-7 lead.
We're going to short side return it again. It was on our right, so make sure you recognize that. Make sure you recognize what the short side is. Short side return. The game is 24 minutes long now, gentlemen. It's 24 minutes long. Suck it up. We don't want to put ourselves in a hole again. Suck it up, and let's go out there and get a couple more scores.
The Cadets add to their lead to begin the second half. When Tartan tries to get fancy on the reverse, Dan Diebel picks up a fumble and bolts in for the score. St. Thomas now leads 18-7.
Tartan was a funny game in that we had chances to win in the end. We had some big running plays, but we just came up short, and it's a test to our character.
Turnovers are the bottom line as Peter Burkhardt causes a fumble on the ensuing kickoff. Courtney Epperly takes possession of the loose ball.
Who got the ball? Epperly. All right, good job. Good job.
Bill Owens picks up 15 yards on the run, but a fumble later in the series kills the drive. Jay Roberts gives Tartan no room to run. But as the 4th quarter begins, the Titans find an opening and narrow the Cadet lead to 18-13.
That really hurt us. They really took control of the game in that period. And then it was all we could do to fight back and try and gain our confidence again. So that was a struggling game for sure.
As the final quarter progresses, the defense stands tall with Jay Roberts and Javier Collins. Brian Cook comes close to intercepting a Tartan pass. Tartan threatens on the screen, taking the ball to the St. Thomas 1-yard line before Ted Michael saves a touchdown. with their backs to the wall and the game on the line, the defense responds. But with another chance, Tartan punches through and takes a 19-18 lead.
They just got away from us, I think. I think we made a couple mistakes offensively and defensively that we should have picked up on, and that we just didn't convert when it came time to convert, I think.
The offense goes to the air with one final chance to score. Time runs out, and the Cadets taste defeat for the first time of the young season.
Those mistakes, you just can't make them, and we battled back, we played hard, but they had a nice drive at the end put together, and they took it to us in that last drive, and we weren't ready to play that night.
North St. Paul is going to give us a test. They have the ability to make you look pretty foolish because they throw the ball so much, but the first quarter will be a real test for us. See if we can keep our bearings, and I think we'll do all right there.
Just in terms of execution, we just want to execute and do well, and if we do the things that we know we can do, we're going to be all right. And that's really the key to this game.
Week 3, St. Thomas puts Tartan behind them and looks toward a matchup with North St. Paul to get back on the winning track.
We're back in our game uniforms, and we get to play a team, and we get to show what we can do. Not very many people who aren't in this locker room have any idea what this feels like. It's the most special feeling in the world, gentlemen. It's something that I treasure. It's one of the most important things I go through in my life. That this many people can feel the same way about something. And this isn't going to bring world peace or anything like that. But for 3 hours, it's pretty darn important to us. We are going to go out, and for 48 minutes, we are going to play as hard as we possibly can. I don't know what the outcome's going to be. I know what I expect. I do know anybody in a blue shirt that's between the sidelines is going to play their rear ends off. You're going to do it for you, and you're going to do it for the guy sitting next to you. And that's it, period. Let it all go. Don't hold back anything. You make mistakes, so what? Make an error of commission, not omission. Do your best. Play together. We're in it together. All right? Let's have some fun now.
In St. Thomas Academy's final game played at O'Shaughnessy Stadium, the Cadets turn up the intensity. Offensively, Chris Laska opens up the Cadet running game on the first series. Ingenuity pays off for the Blue as Todd Spicer lets Ted Michael take over. Michael picks up big yards to keep the opening drive alive.
As Todd was going down, I was screaming for him to pitch me the ball, and all of a sudden he pitched me the ball, and I just started running. And yeah, in films, the coaches yelled at him and myself about it and told him never to do it again, but I think that was a big play in the game.
Spicer goes up top looking for 6. He finds it in the hands of Chris Laska as the Cadets take an early 7-0 lead.
We had a lot of big plays from our quarterback, Todd Spicer, and Chris Rye, and from our running back, Chris Laska. He played a good game, and I think that was one of the games he started to come into his own as a running back.
The defense responds to the challenge with inspired play. Chris Kispert breaks up a pass. Peter Burkhart delivers a crunching blow to his opponent. Judd Fenland's tackle prevents a North St. Paul touchdown.
That was a great game as far as the defense went. We pretty much shut everything they had down right away. And the offense had a pretty good game. That game was a lot of fun for everyone.
Ted Michael is a menace to the Polars' passing game and returns his interception to the North St. Paul 14-yard line.
Go, 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 go! Go, go! Yes! Yes! Yes!
On their first play from scrimmage, the offense moves in for the score, with Bill Owens getting the call. St. Thomas leads the Polars 14-0.
We've always played good against North St. Paul, I think. We just ran it at them and kept taking it to them, and smash mouth football got to them, I guess.
When North St. Paul gets on the board with a field goal, Chris Laska reciprocates with a 39-yard return on the ensuing kickoff. The offense produces yards with Todd Spicer on the run. Bill Owens is brought down only after doing damage with a 10-yard gain. Owens picks up more St. Thomas yards in a prolific rushing performance. The special teams tighten their grip as Chris Kispert provides solid punt coverage. The defense sends a message to North as the half ends, as Dan Diebel bursts through with a sack. At the intermission, St. Thomas leads 14-3.
Coach Slater got a lot more in our face during that week before that game, and he, really set the tone for what he expected us to do.
You cannot be comfortable with a 14-3 lead. I don't care who you're playing. You have to summon up the intensity to put a nail in the coffin, to whip their minds and then whip them on the field. Period. Don't hope or wish somebody breaks a big play. You make the big play.
Bill Owens opens up the second half for the offense with aggressive running. The offensive line opens the lanes as Owens takes full advantage. Owens keeps the Cadets in a ball control offense, finding yards any way he can. Spicer is on the move as well as the offense keeps possession for most of the third quarter.
It proved to us that, especially as a defense, that we could bounce back from a losing game and that we're going to be one of the teams to reckon with in our conference.
The defense saves the best for last in the fourth quarter as James Makins blankets the Polars, coming through with a sack. Ryan Cook provides another turnover with a key interception to halt the drive. The offense looks to put the game out of reach with Mike Hankey running tough. Todd Spicer puts the ball in the air and finds Laska for the tandem's second scoring combination of the game. A 39-yard strike and a 21-3 St. Thomas lead.
We couldn't run the ball as well, so we used the passing attack, which worked for us numerous times with James Makins. And Bill Owens and myself and Mike Hankey, we all helped the running backs along with Chris Laskin running the ball.
Where's my shoe?
The defense looks to ensure victory. Judd Fenlon and Courtney Epperly provide sound coverage. Peter Burkhart crashes in on a blitz and silences North with a sack. Judd Fenlon holds off a North scoring threat with an interception in the end zone. St. Thomas Academy bids farewell to O'Shaughnessy Stadium with a convincing 21-5 win over North St. Paul.
I'm feeling pretty good about ourselves. Last week we lost a tough one and we knew we didn't want to lose again, so we came out and we had to leave it all on the field, and we did.
This really means a lot because we kind of get that sour feeling out of our systems. It's a bad feeling to lose, and so now we're back on the winning track.
I think the D-line kept a lot of pressure on the quarterback on third downs and made him throw the ball in bad situations. The D-backs made good picks when we needed them. The defense caused fumbles when we needed them. It was just clutch defense.
It felt good because going back on the bus and in the locker room after you lose it's a really bad feeling. After this win today, we'll be ready for next week, get a good week's practice, be ready for Simile.
We've got everything that we could possibly want for history. It's for history, it's forever. It's all made out of concrete and brick, and it's going to stand, and my daughters and their kids and kids of alumni and friends of this school forever are going to come back and enjoy this facility.
After a shutout of Simile on the road, the St. Thomas community celebrates the advent of a new tradition as the Cadets christen Jerry Brown Stadium in their homecoming game with Woodbury.
He established the football tradition that we have here. I can think of no better person to get this type of honor. I'm very proud. I'm happy for Jerry, and I hope we can win the game, so it's a nice evening.
Before the game, the stadium crowd receives a blessing from Archbishop Roach of St. Paul.
I can't tell you how delighted I am that what has been a dream since the very beginning of this school has become a reality. When we moved the academy out here, we had a lot of priorities. Some of them we were able to accomplish, some we couldn't. We were able to put in what we thought was a first-class football field, but the stadium we recognized was something that was going to have to wait. It's been a lot of years, but that dream is now a reality, and I thank the Makins and I thank all of those who have made it such. Thank God for tonight. Thank God for this new step in the history of this school.
The man responsible for the stadium's construction is Bill Makins.
Diane and I thank you from our hearts. We want to thank a lot of other people. This couldn't have happened without the support and the dedication and the contribution of so many people. And it's a credit to everybody that's here tonight to honor Jerry, and it's a credit to the people who worked so hard to help this dream and vision become a reality. This started 11 months ago, and isn't it great?
The great St. Thomas coach, for whom the new stadium is named, shares his sentiments with a capacity crowd.
My most sincere gratitude to Bill and Diana Makins for what they have done for my school and for me. They have picked up on the philanthropic lead which was modeled for us by I.A. O'Shaughnessy in the 60s and gifted St. Thomas Academy with a facility for history. And for some reason, they have put my name on it rather than their own. We should all be grateful to them, and I am personally in their debt forever. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for your kind attention, and let's go, Cadets!
With ceremonies completed, the Cadets look to open their new facility in winning fashion.
It was by far the biggest game I've ever played at St. Thomas. Just the feelings you got, the adrenaline pumping. Everybody was so ready for the game.
The tone is set on the opening kickoff, where John Podobinski leads a pack of St. Thomas tacklers. The defense follows the special teams lead as James Makins heads a swarming unit.
I'd never seen that many people in a football game before in my life, and to see that many people come back and cheer us on was just a great thrill. And we went out there, and I think we were so pumped up and so ready to go that game that we just steamrolled Woodbury.
With their first possession, the offense takes control as Bill Owens is off and running for a pickup of 35 yards to the Woodbury 15-yard line. Ted Michael adds his contribution to the opening drive with a pickup of 10 yards. Mike Henke receives the honor of scoring the first points at Jerry Brown Stadium, and St. Thomas takes a 6-0 lead.
The Woodbury game was awesome. It was just both offensively and defensively. I think we just dominated the whole game. It was just a blast to play. It was fun every minute of it.
The defense comes up with a turnover as James Makins causes a fumble with a sack and Chris Owens recovers the loose ball. The offense wastes no time to cash in as Chris Laska bolts in from 10 yards out. Going for 2 on the conversion, Todd Spicer gives St. Thomas a 14-0 lead with the keep.
Everybody was ready to play, and that kind of enthusiasm is hard to beat. When you got the excitement of that new stadium, it would have been hard to beat us no matter what team it was that night.
The special teams shine once more, with Anger, McCall, Beckman, and Epperly providing sound kickoff coverage. R.J. Schreifer and Matt Funk plug up the middle, leaving Woodbury nowhere to run. James Makins is at the top of his game and sets the Royals back with a loss on the sweep.
All I remember that night is complete destruction by the defense. The defense gave them absolutely nothing. There were big plays by Matt Funk and R.J. Schreifer and Ben Hines.
The offense moves effectively, with Bill Owens breaking off left tackle. The offense receives a key block from Will Henke. Chris Laska finds open field and a big gain, 22 yards for number 22, as the offense rolls. Todd Spicer gets into the act, picking up 18 yards on the quarterback keep.
Chris Laska again had a magnificent game. I believe the offensive line also played extremely well. They were starting to come together as a unit, and that helped the running backs out a lot.
As the second quarter is underway, the offense operates like clockwork behind Laska and Owens. Justin Bachman delivers the key block. Mike Hankey brings St. Thomas to the doorstep of another scoring opportunity. Hankey gets the call from the 1. His touchdown gives St. Thomas a 21-0 lead.
That was unbelievable. Words can't describe what I was feeling in that game. And it was a slaughter. James Makins played an unbelievable game. He had a lot of great catches. Our offense clicked. Our defense was unstoppable.
On the next defensive series, Makins and Funk create another Woodbury loss as the defense holds again. Bill Owens shows his appreciation, breaking loose for a 35-yard gain. As the first half draws to a close, Ben Hines rushes in for the sack. The halftime score, St. Thomas 21, Woodbury 0.
We had our adrenaline flowing, and we came out and we played our hearts out and just played the St. Thomas smash mouth football that St. Thomas is known for, and just shut them out.
Hey, 24 minutes of good football. We got to play 24 minutes of good football. We are? We are. Together. Together. We are? We are. A team. A team. We are? We are. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah!
The second half is underway with the offense controlling the ball. Todd Spicer puts the ball in the air, and Chris Brown makes the catch for a gain of 25. The Cadets give Woodbury a clinic in ball control offense as Spicer keeps it on the ground. Bill Owens for 8. Chris Laska for 12.
Billy Owens sticks out in my mind for that game, and Chris Laska, both of them. They both ran real well. They broke a couple for big plays.
When Woodbury gains control, the defense holds, forcing the Royals to punt, while Ben Hines capitalizes on a bad snap from center. The fourth quarter begins, and the offense is off and running. Owens. Laska. With the ball on the Woodbury 29-yard line, Chris Laska gets the call and weaves his way for another St. Thomas touchdown as the Cadets take a 27-0 lead. That score holds to the final gun in what is a most memorable St. Thomas homecoming.
Hey, nice way to baptize it, right?
It's really important to a lot of people. People haven't been able to play on this for years. We're the first team to do it. It's really exciting.
Our goal was just to come out flying, take it to them right away, and stick with it. The last 2 games we played, we were, we come out, score a couple quick touchdowns on them, and then we kind of give up. Our goal this week was to stick with it, and I think we did that. I think we did a real good job.
I think we're all excited. It was a new stadium, and that's nice too, but we knew that we had to win the game. I mean, the game had to be won, and we just stepped it up to our level.
Well, our linemen just threw them back, and every time you get a hole for Billy or Mike, they're just going to get yards for you, and that's just what we did. We got a couple yards every time. We just kept pounding it, and our defense kept giving us the ball.
Coach Slater let us know at the end of the first half that we had to pick it up on the defensive line. We did it in the second half. They can't do anything against us.
Well, it was pretty much 3 and out the whole time. I mean, we gave the offense great ball position on like the 40 and 50-yard line every time they were out. And the punt really helped us, the block field goal. It all came together. That's what it's about.
It was our second shutout in 2 weeks. The defense is starting to come together. We're stopping the rush, we're stopping the pass. We aren't letting any team score on us, so we're doing pretty good for ourselves right now.
Let's go, White! Come on! Come on, White! Come on!
St. Thomas takes their 4-1 record on the road to Sibley in a clash of crosstown rivals in Week 6.
The Sibley game was another all-out street fight. We were playing over there this year, and we came out flat. The ground was wet, and we lost our footing right away.
Adverse field conditions result in a defensive struggle as Dan Diebel and Ted Michaels stuff the Sibley attack early. Sibley attempts to go to the air, but R.J. Schreifer wreaks havoc on the first series. Courtney Epperly gives St. Thomas solid assurance on punt coverage. The offense looks to ignite a drive as quarterback Dan Spreitzer finds James Makins for a 30-yard gain.
We came out and ran it and tried to run and tried to pass a little bit. Makins and Chris Brown came up with some key catches to keep us in it a little bit. Billy ran real well, Alaska ran real well.
Mike Henke forges ahead for a pickup of 8. Bill Owens looks for an opening and cuts back with a 10-yard gain. A Sibley interception silences a drive, and the teams remain deadlocked in a scoreless tie at the end of 2 quarters.
So the offense was a little out of sync that week, and defensively, we played well. We played well enough, to keep them off the scoreboard until end of regulation. We didn't really get any key turnovers or anything in that game, but we played well enough to win.
D-backs, you got to make some plays for us. You got to make plays, D-backs. You got to get your heads in the game and start playing with some fire, okay? Let's get out of this robot stage. Let's get into our stage. Let's get into our stage.
St. Thomas starts the second half in the air with Spreitzer finding Billy Owens. Spreitzer goes up top again, this time finding James Makins. Back to the same reliable target. Spreitzer to Makins with a tight end making a great effort. On a 4th down conversion, the offense goes for a first, but their pass attempt falls incomplete.
We came out and we weren't doing anything on offense, and the defense was shutting them down. We had both our starting quarterback, of course, was hurt, we just didn't seem to come together on offense like we should have.
The defense performs heroically with gang tackling throughout the second half. Sibley gains nothing as Ben Hines shuts the door. The offense looks for the elusive touchdown as Spreitzer connects with Chris Brown on a 3rd down conversion. Bill Owens' determination is apparent as the offense fights for yards. Mike Henke performs with a similar mentality. But when the Cadets go to the air, Sibley pulls down another interception. Regulation expires, and the scoreless game goes into overtime.
We let them hang with us. That overtime, you have a couple of chances to make it into the end zone, and if you don't, it's up to your defense. And we did convert, and they did.
Defense, get that turnover for us right away, okay? Doesn't matter if we're an offensive defense first. Play with heart. Make the big play. You're the man now. Go. You're the man, all right?
On the first overtime series, Chris Laska gets the call as the intensity soars. Spreitzer looks for Brown, but the pass falls incomplete. A 4th down rushing attempt falls short as Sibley gains the upper hand. The Indians' pass brings them to the 3-yard line.
All of a sudden, they were on the 1-yard line, and we've been playing hard the whole game, but they were right there to score. And then the next play, they quarterback sneak right over the center.
With a quarterback sneak, Sibley breaks the scoreless lock and hands St. Thomas their second defeat.
Defensively, we felt good, but we didn't feel positive because we lost. I mean, even if we do a good job in defense and we lose, we feel that our part wasn't complete.
It kind of took away the idea that we would be able to obtain a conference championship 2 years in a row. because that more or less knocked us out of the play with that game.
What they're doing is they're running Laska through the line into the flat. Okay, it's a hell of a play. It's a good offensive play.
St. Thomas plays host to South St. Paul in Week 7.
This is a street fight, man. You got to hit, gouge, scratch, do whatever you have to do, but you have to get off of him and get to the ball.
You will get there, Jay. That's better.
We got 2 games left. Let's come together now, huh? We gotta go out there, we gotta be crazy maniacs. Every time you go out there, every single play, you gotta beat the person across from you. You gotta beat them.
Last week, Mr. Slater gave the seniors a challenge. We didn't fulfill that challenge. This is our final regular season game at home. Let's make it a good one.
The only thing we can do, is play in the string we have, and that is our attitude. I am convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you, and so it is with our team.
Prime from the start, the defense generates another brilliant performance. Ted Michael lowers the boom on the Packers' running game. R.J. Schreifer and Javier Collins lead a swarm of blue defenders. Good containment is key early on, as Hines, Collins, and Michael bottle up their opponents.
South St. Paul was a kind of a strange game. It was like, I think we dominated the game defensively, except for like two or three offensive plays from South St. Paul.
Quarterback Chris Rye opens the passing game with significant results, finding James Makins for a 28-yard touchdown and a 7-0 St. Thomas lead. The defense turns up the heat in the second quarter as James Makins and Jay Roberts apply pressure on the passer, and Javier Collins picks up the sack. Later in the same series, Makins displays tremendous determination, resulting in another St. Thomas sack.
I think one of our biggest assets to the team was James Makins. For James and Ben Hines to step up and play like they did was really key to our team's defense.
Matt Funk keeps the barrage going, shutting down the Packers' counter. But South St. Paul finds an opening, resulting in a Packer touchdown and a 7-7 game at the half.
Play your hearts out. I suggest you find it in your collective souls, in your collective minds, to figure out what you have to do to play better in the second half offense. I think you have to play harder. I think you have to play with a lot less selfishness and more team-oriented stuff.
The St. Thomas offense looks to Bill Owens to ignite a drive. Chris Rye puts the ball in the air and finds Mike Hurley for a gain of 10.
I think the defense played really hard all game, but South St. Paul was out to win that game.
Defensively, the Cadets continue their brilliant performance. Makins and Burkhart plug up the Packers' ground game. R.J. Schreifer storms on a blitz, resulting in a loss for South St. Paul.
R.J. Schreifer, our middle linebacker and nose guard for part of the year, and he just did a tremendous job of stopping the run and making some key hits and big plays.
When the Cadets are forced to punt on 4th down, Ted Michael has a surprise for the Packers, taking the short snap upfield for a big gain and a St. Thomas first down. Bill Owens cuts loose for the offense, picking up 10 yards on the run. But on a 4th down attempt from the Packer 5-yard line, St. Thomas is held on downs.
We're driving the ball on offense, but we couldn't seem to put it in the end zone.
The defense keeps its focus and holds the Packers to 3 plays and out. Seizing opportunity, Rye finds Makins for a first down. Mike Henke picks up 10 more yards on the ground. Henke again, this time for 7. Chris Laska breaks loose for a gain of 10 as a Cadet score appears imminent. But on a 4th down conversion, St. Thomas comes away empty-handed.
The again, it was some of the mental mistakes. I don't know, maybe it was us not being ready. Maybe it was some other things, we don't know. We really didn't know. We were looking for those questions all year.
The defense gets even on the next series as Collins runs down a Packer rusher. Bill Owens gives the offense a spark with his punt return. Rye finds Owens on the screen as the offense looks to break the 7-7 tie. But a Packer interception silences the Cadets' final offensive chance in regulation. And for the second week in a row, the game goes to sudden death overtime.
We're going to go after this one now, all right? We're going to go after this one. We're going to be mentally tough, and we're going to get after this one. We're going to get this overtime victory, okay? Everybody play together. Play together and play hard.
The offense takes the field first, but a fumble turns the ball over to South St. Paul. The defense holds firm with Javier Collins doing battle. Schreifer and Funk dig deep to hold off a touchdown. But South St. Paul opts for the field goal, and after a successful attempt, the Cadets fall in overtime for the second straight game.
You have to realize that no matter what happens, you have to get up and get prepared for the next team in the next week. You can't remember things that happened in the past because each week is almost a new season.
All right, now Shides, remember on 0-1 counter, you're going after that linebacker. You're going to hit, if it's 0 counter, you're going to brush block the guy over the guard, left guard, and you get that linebacker, right? And then our fullback will get him. Right? And then we'll get the right tackle take another linebacker.
In their final regular season game, St. Thomas travels to Park of Cottage Grove to meet a team one game away from the conference championship.
They're overwhelming. They are an incredible offensive team. They're averaging about 35 points a game. Hastings is the only team that's held them under 25 points. They're really good. They're big, they're fast, they do everything a good team does.
Well, it's kind of tough for us because they run a totally different offense, the option, which we don't see all year until this game. So we've kind of got to cram and change all our philosophies on defense, and it's mostly mental work. It's not a lot of physical work. You just got to start thinking a little differently.
You have a great challenge ahead of you. A great challenge. You'll remember this for a long time. You will remember this for a long time. Everybody's counted you out. Your friends have counted you out. You gotta rise to the challenge, boys. You gotta rise up. You're fighting for pride. That's all you're playing for. You're playing for pride. Let's go out and do it now, all right? Let's
The
go.
defense duels from the opening gun. Chris Kispert and Peter Burkhardt prey on the quarterback. Swarming defenders in white give little if nothing away. Park opts for the option, but Ben Hines creates a loss.
Park was one of the most exciting games of my life because I went into that game and I felt like we weren't going to lose. I didn't think it was possible. We were the underdogs. It was said that nobody could beat Park, and as a team we felt we could beat them.
The offense will enjoy a productive night. Chris Rye and Bill Owens combine to put a drive in motion. Rye evades Park defenders and makes it happen, scrambling his way for a big gain.
We moved the ball real well that game. Our offense clicked. We played real well. We stopped ourselves a couple times with penalties.
Defensively, the Cadets are a force throughout the first half. Burkhardt gives away nothing at linebacker. Javier Collins bolts through Park protection and leaves destruction in his path. But the Park offense breaks loose and goes in to score. The Cadets find themselves trailing 6-0 early in the second quarter.
I think we realized that we could knock Park off the conference championship possibly, and so that's the idea that we went into with. They tried to do that to us the year before, and so we wanted to do that to them.
The offense looks for momentum as Chris Laska gets the ball. Bill Owens picks up a gain of 8. Rye connects with B.J. Weller as the offense moves into Park territory. Rye keeps the ball and covers yards on the ground as well. From 25 yards out, Rye sets his sights on striking by air. He finds Chris Laska on the receiving end, and St. Thomas ties the score at 6 apiece.
Yeah, that was a great game. We knew that pretty much our conference championship was out of the question. We lost those first few games, but we really had nothing to lose going in the park, and we played our hearts out.
On the following defensive series, Ted Michael gives his team new opportunity, pouncing on a fumble. Rye and Laska combine once more, this time on the screen, good for a St. Thomas first down. Owens chews up yardage to keep the drive alive. With sights on the end zone, Chris Laska breaks through Park, and St. Thomas takes the lead with a 12-6 edge. Park strikes back on the following series, going to the air for a big gain to the St. Thomas 1-yard line. On the following play, Park crashes in, and the conversion gives them a 13-12 lead. When the offense takes the field, Rye takes to the air, going deep to Makins for the completion, but time runs out in the half as the Cadets head to the locker room, trailing by 1.
Backside people continue to tackle aggressively. We failed on one play to tackle aggressively from the backside, and they popped one. Otherwise, we're playing spectacular defensively. You guys are playing as well as you played all year. Keep it up. Just keep it up.
The second half proves to be the wildest of the season. With the offense in possession to open the third quarter, Chris Laska is off and running, going the distance, 68 yards in all, but a penalty nullifies the run, and the Cadets are forced to punt. Park adds to their slim lead with a touchdown run from 3 yards out.
After our 2 losses, we never gave up, and I think that showed in the Park game how we were down and we never gave up. We came fighting back.
The offense takes charge, looking to get it back. Chris Laska picks up 8. Ted Michael runs with toughness and picks up a Cadet first down. Rye finds holes in the Park defense, connecting with Laska and Owens. The drive looks promising, but an interception leaves St. Thomas empty-handed.
I remember the fourth down when myself and Matt Funk made a huge play. We stopped on the fourth down, and that gave the offense the ball. And when I got down in my stance, it was an uncanny feeling that I felt like it was coming to me. I saw him give the ball to Grossman, the running back, and I was just there. I just happened to plunge in and drove him back. Matt had his legs wrapped up. I hit him upside the head and drove him back.
The fourth quarter begins and the defense rises as Hines and Funk stuff Park on a crucial fourth down play.
Offensively, Bill Owens was just flying high that night. I'll never forget the run he had. It was a drive forward counter, and I was the fullback, and all of a sudden I got the fake and I hit my man, and all of a sudden I see Bill rounding the corner, and there's nobody within 3 yards of him, and I knew at that moment he was gone all the way. Nobody would catch him.
The offense takes the field with 6 on their minds. It becomes a reality when blocks from Will Hankey and Chris Brown spring Bill Owens loose. Owens is in to score 77 yards in all as the Cadets draw to within 1 with the score 19-18.
I give a lot of credit to Will Hankey, our guard, and the rest of our offensive line, but Will Hankey in particular. He nailed the corner out there, and I turned the corner, and there was nobody there.
The 2-point conversion falls short, and St. Thomas remains in search of regaining the lead. The defense responds with inspired play to stop Park on the ground. Jay Roberts and Matt Funk make certain no ground is lost. Coming up with the play, Burkhardt and Makins apply pressure on the quarterback, and Ted Michael gives the offense life with an interception. Park reciprocates with a pickoff of their own, 1 yard out from their own end zone. The defense looks for revenge as Schreifer and Makins nearly come away with a safety. Schreifer keeps Park pinned in on 3rd down, forcing them to punt. Bill Owens fields the punt, add a 15-yard Park penalty to his 10-yard return, and the Cadets take possession at the Park 15-yard line. Owens picks up 5 to bring the offense close. A 3rd down pass falls incomplete, giving the offense one more play to take the lead.
We played as well as we could. Came up short on the scoreboard by 1 point, but it was a great game, and it was a great game to be part of because it was close down to the wire. It's too bad we couldn't pull it off.
With their 19-18 win, Park wins the conference championship. And gallant in defeat, the Cadets hold their heads high, looking ahead to the section playoffs.
Things just didn't fall like we hoped they would. But at the same time, we never gave up, and we went out there every week and did our best and played hard and never gave up, but just didn't fall our way. But I think we played well as a team.
One of the things that we've preached all year is intensity, is tough, smash-mouth football. Now's the time to demonstrate it. Now's the time to step up and play good, intense football. There's no tomorrow. There's no tomorrow.
The first round of the Section 3 playoffs sent St. Thomas on the road in a matchup with Hastings.
Hastings was going to be the beginning of our new season. We were going to go in there and hopefully we wanted to crush them and then move on and face Stillwater again and hopefully beat them.
You got to let it hang out. You got to leave everything you got out on the field. It's a beautiful night. It's a nice park to play in. We're all set for a good game. Let's make sure we have a good game.
The defense establishes itself early. Ben Hines is a man with a mission, combining with Matt Funk to halt the Hastings offense. Hines reads the Hastings offense and disposes of the dive man. Breaking through with great penetration, Hines causes a fumble on the option pitch. Offensively, the Cadets find yards with Chris Rye connecting with Mike Hurley. But a Hastings interception pins the Cadet defense deep in their own territory. Moments later, Hastings takes the early lead. Another turnover gives Hastings possession again, and they waste no time to score, taking a 14-0 lead.
I think Hastings came out flat on defense for the first time all season.
The defense settles in. Chris Kispert leads tacklers to stop a sweep. Peter Burkhardt and Javier Collins keep Hastings silent before the half, and at the intermission, the Cadets trail 14-0.
Going in the locker room at halftime, nobody was down or anything, saying, oh, this is going to be the last game of the season, it's all over now. Everybody had the attitude, that we had to come out fighting the second half and that we were going to do it.
You have to summon up the courage to go out and fight. You got to have some energy. You got to have some enthusiasm. You got to have a little bit of pride. All right? We still got a chance in this game. Let's go now. Come on. Let's go.
The second half begins in grand fashion as Chris Laska puts the Cadets back in the game, racing the opening kickoff 83 yards for a touchdown. St. Thomas is in the hunt, trailing by a margin of 14-7.
Chris Laska ran the kickoff back, which literally ignited this team. The defense began to make big plays, and the offense was driving it down the field.
The defense cranks up the intensity as Makins, Funk, Collins, and Hines apply the pressure. Michael and Burkhardt keep Hastings in check. Collins, Schreifer, and Burkhardt block off the middle.
I remember one play in the huddle, a couple of our teammates just went nuts, and we decided, I think it was Ben Hines told us, guys, we got to get going, we're the better team. And after that, I don't think we thought we were indestructible.
Go D! Shut him down, defense! Hold him! Shut him down!
Schreifer and Hines leave no room outside, shutting down a Hastings sweep. James Makins caps off the assault, creating mayhem with a sack.
I give a lot of credit to our defense because they held us in every game and they gave the offensive chance to get going if we started out slow.
The offense follows the lead of the Cadet defenders with inspired play. Bill Owens finds the open field and picks up 38 yards. Ted Michael adds 12 more. Grady and Sandsail open up the left side. With the fourth quarter underway, Michael continues with ball control.
Yeah! That's a running team, home! Keep it up! Come on!
Returning from injury, Todd Spicer sparks the offense and finds Makins in the air. Spicer hangs it up once more, this time to B.J. Weller for 24 yards and a St. Thomas touchdown. With 2 unanswered touchdowns, the Cadets tie the score at 14-all.
I remember everybody on the sideline started cheering, and Todd Spicer had just thrown a touchdown pass, and I'll never forget jumping up and Dr. Rye and the trainer telling me to sit down, but I knew we were back in it.
The tie is short-lived as Hastings finds their own points through the air and regains the lead at 21-14. The offense goes back to work. Spicer finds Laska to start it out. On a crucial 4th and 8, Spicer connects with Weller, who picks up the first. But a final surge falls short, and the Cadets suffer defeat. The end is at hand, and the season is suddenly over.
No matter what happened or what fell for us or didn't fall for us, we continued to go out there and strive to do the best we could. And no matter what the record was, I still think that tradition of excellence was still there because we gave it all we could, and sometimes it just doesn't happen, but we didn't fall short, I don't think.
The game of football is rich in tradition, and there is no tradition as deep in pride and commitment than St. Thomas football. 1994 marked the dawn of a new age for St. Thomas. The Cadets of this inaugural year brought new luster to the tradition by unyielding persistence and a ceaseless dedication to themselves and the game. St. Thomas football in 1994. Times to cherish and days to remember.
There's a hero if you look inside your heart. You don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer if you reach into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth that a hero lies in you. It's a long road when you face the world alone. No one reaches out a hand for you to hold. You can find love Thank you.